Let me see here. I should set this up beforehand, huh? All right, that's working. Yep, you get to see my air ducts and my unfinished ceiling. This is my lovely basement. If you watched my lives before, this is where I do them. And nothing special about them. I'm just going to sit here and talk about Pentax. And you're welcome to join and chat if you want, or leave a comment below if you're watching it later. I think I got it all figured out, so the chats will actually show up after this video as well. It's not going to hold them for like 12 hours or what it did before. You just have to, if you're doing a live, I think you have to uncheck the hold for inappropriate language or whatever. So I'm not a big cusser or anything like that. So, well, maybe sometimes my wife, oh, sailor mouth. All right. I really don't have anything lined up. I didn't write down any notes at all. What I did do is I went camping in the Great Smoky Mountains Thursday and Friday. And instead of bringing the K1, which is what I mainly use for landscapes, I just brought the K3 Mark III this time. And I brought 4 lenses. I brought the 55 to 300 PLM, just in case I saw some wildlife. I brought the 16 to 50 PLM, and I brought the Sigma 10 to 20, and I brought Tamron 90 millimeter macro lens. I didn't use the macro lens at all. I didn't use the Sigma 10 to 20. I just used the 16 to 50 PLM and the 55 to 300 PLM. That's all I used the whole time. I figured that might happen, but I just wanted, in case I saw something I thought that I might need to use a macro lens for. I'm not going to show any pictures, so if you're like doing some house cleaning or whatever, you just want to listen to this like a podcast, that's fine. I might show something on the back of the camera here in a second because I did some features. I used some features that I hadn't used before on the K3 Mark III. I don't know if I had this like a year, I think. I can't remember when I got this. I think it was May, right? It's just been out a year, May. So all those people that were waiting on it, let's see what the price is now. I hadn't looked up the price lately. So what is the new price on B&H for a K3 Mark III? Let's check it out and we'll see. K3 Mark III. And it's still the same price. It hadn't come down at all. Still $2,000. So people that were waiting for it hadn't really come down. What? All right. I don't know what that's all about, but anyway, yeah. So all I was used was those 2 lenses, and the camera hadn't come down in price. You could still get it at $2,000, but obviously there's probably some out on the used market. I'm not sure what the used market is. I hadn't really looked it up, but phenomenal camera. I totally recommend it, even at the $2,000 price tag. Hadn't heard any rumors about anything coming out as far as the next camera is concerned. I think I went over that in my next live. I don't know if you have any opinions on that, if it's going to be like a K1 Mark III or a K70 Mark or K90, I guess it would be. But yeah, had a really fun time camping. I tested out some features that I hadn't really used in the K3 Mark III. There's like so much in this camera. Like a year later, I'm still finding stuff that I hadn't really used. I mean, it's some of the typical stuff that I didn't use in the K1 either, like Astro Tracer. I gave that a shot. I got some links below so you could check out some of my social media type stuff. I did put some pictures in there if you want to check those out afterwards. But the Astro Tracer has this new new Astro Tracer thing that doesn't use the GPS. It works differently. And Snappy has told me, and he made a video about it and told me print off the PDF beforehand, which I totally forgot. And I was just up there and there was no Wi-Fi, of course, so I couldn't really download it. But I'll show you what it looks like. Let me see here. Astro Tracer. I don't know if you can see that. I put it in my main menu. So there's 3 different versions of it. Yeah, you can't see that. Yeah, there's 3 different versions of it. If you're going to use it, add it to your little common menu. There's the multi-segment. Well, no, I'm sorry. Different versions are Type 1, Type 2, Type 3. Type 3 has a. Let me click into it, and I'll show you. All right, give me a second here. Well, I'm all miscombobulated here, but Type 3 has it where you could set it up for like a longer bulb exposure. I did a shot at 3 minutes. Hey, Simon, how's it going? And that was the best option for me, just like going right off the bat, only trying the Astro Tracer feature for the first time on the K3 Mark III, the new feature that doesn't use the GPS. And it worked really well. I shot one at 3 minutes. Like I said, I don't know if I'll post that in social media or not, but it worked really well. I didn't get any. It was weird because, if you've ever used Astro Tracer before, you know that you have to you can't put trees or rocks or anything like that in the foreground because it's the sensor's moving, so it's gonna blur anything you have there. So it's all for the sky. So don't leave anything of that in unless you're doing it like a composite or whatever. You could add something in later, but um, it was weird because I left the trees and just see what it would do since it was a newer feature, not using the GPS. And of course, it blurred those, but I was on a 3 minute exposure at 16 millimeters f2.8 with the 1650 PLM and did a fantastic job there. But down by the trees were blurred, but there were some stars right above the trees. So it kind of gave those some star trails as well. I guess it was trying to process it. So what it does is uh, it does the data processing or whatever. Or no, and I'm thinking of something else. But it tried to fix it and it didn't fix it. So just make sure if you're using the Astro Tracer just to get the sky. And if you want to add a foreground in, you could do it later in post. But um, that's the way to do it so far. I'm going to try it out a lot more. First time trying out the newer Astro Tracer feature, but I think it's really good. And Simon, hey, I didn't find it in here. Maybe let me check real quick. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but maybe it's not in here. But the cool thing about the K70, it had that movie mode star trails thing and it's not here in the K3 Mark III. I think they took it out of there, which is kind of weird. Let's double check here. No card and hammer. I'm not trying to record. Anyway, yeah, I didn't find that in there, so I thought that was interesting. I really like that feature in the K70. Uh, but yeah, the star trails. I have a video on it, but it's been several years ago. The star trails in with the K70 in the video mode, and it does actually in 4K mode, no audio, but it does the stars just like slowly just go. Check out that video if you hadn't seen it. Hey, Kobe, what's going on? Um, also, I was going to talk about the pixel shift mode. I used that this this week, and I've never used it on the K3. Why have I never used it on the K3 Mark III? It's just because, I mean, the images are already really, really great coming out of here. So I don't feel the need, since most of the stuff I post is going to be on the internet, and if the images are already that great, I don't feel the need to use it. But I did try it out, and it's very interesting how it does. I think it's newer, so you can use it handheld. I tried it handheld just to see how it is, but it shoots 3 shots. Let me set it up here. Try it out. It does 3 shots, and you have to hold it still, kind of. And it gives you the option of using the tripod or handheld. And yeah, I did handheld the first time, and it's as shaky as my hands are. Well, they're not shaky right now, but it didn't really turn out. So I just propped up against a fence real quick, and it's like, okay, we can do this. And it got better there, but I compared it to my regular shot, and really didn't see a huge difference. I made sure that there was no movement around or whatever. It wasn't windy or whatnot, but uh, they have some great features in here, and some of them I just don't use, and I need to take advantage of those. Like I said, I've had this camera, I think, a year now, and I still find stuff in the menus. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember seeing that, but I hadn't got around to using it. So K3 Mark III, I just had a lot of fun just using this camera and leaving my K1 behind, and just using those 2 lenses. That is like an excellent setup. If you're looking for a setup, let me see how much that would cost. Yeah, that'll cost a shitload. Okay, K3 Mark III, and then this 16 to 50 millimeter. I think that's still $1,500, and then the 55 to 300. So you're looking at about $4,000, but you could get some really excellent professional grade pictures with that setup. And yeah, I mean, you could go cheaper on this if you want and get the 20 to 40 limited, but overall, this is great, great camera. Let's see if I missed anything here. Yeah, there's a few. Kobe said there's a few things missing in the K3 Mark III in the video. You know, actually, I tried the. I don't. I need to try it again, but I was trying to do a user mode with the video, and it didn't accept it. I need to try that again. I might be lying to you here, but I tried to set it up because I was doing a video, and it wouldn't allow me to set a user when I was in video mode. Maybe I could put it in stills mode, and then switch it over to video. But when I was in video mode, I couldn't save a user setting, which was really odd as far as that's concerned. As far as video going in the future, there's a lot of cameras. I know Panasonic. I'm not sure if Sony has it, but some of these cameras have 8K in them. So it's one of those things. It's like people want the rapid fire, like that. And but when you have 8K video, why don't you just shoot 8K video and pull out a still out of there? It's almost to that point. I was thinking about the future of cameras, and I've never actually seen 8K video, but I'm not sure what player you use to play it. I'm not sure how you edit it. I'm sure you can do it in Adobe Premiere, but um, it's just odd like that. And then also along that lines of like that hyper shooting mode, you can, a lot of cameras, it fills up the buffer like super quick if you're shooting with like DNG or raw files. Not super quick, but it's gotten better and better. But I thought about this the other day. I mean, we've got 2 cards in here. This is kind of for computer people, but we've got 2 cards in here, and I've built like my computers for the past 5 years. You could build a computer with 2 hard drives in it and make it what's called a RAID 0, and basically it gets the cards going a lot faster. So read and write speeds are like incredible. I'm wondering when they're going to introduce that into a camera. It has like a RAID capability. RAID 0, though, if you lost the card, it would be totally gone, all your images, because it's writing to both cards for extra speed. But if they put that technology into that, I think you could get the raw files just to go just as fast as the JPEGs, as far as shooting, like that, and never fill up the buffer. Or if it's writing to, I mean, it might be something else in there that's processing it as well. But that was just a thought that I came up with, and it could even be in, internal memory instead of SD cards. When it's running that fast, then you could just plug it into your computer. Just I was curious where our camera's going to go at this point. There's just so much into them, so I was kind of thinking about that when I was camping. I was like, wow. That's why I decided to check out some of these features that I hadn't tried. What do I got coming up in the future? Videos. I made this bad video. I don't know. It's been like 3 or 4 years, and there's been so much stuff come out since then. Lenses, the top 15 lenses, I think I did a video about, and it was kind of bad. I mean, a lot of people liked it, but I did this. Uh, this is number 5. I was going to do an echo effect in it, but it never. I never put the echo effect in, and made me sound really stupid. But I'm going to redo that, and I'm going to go over, since I've tried out some lenses that weren't in that top 15, and there's been new lenses released. I'm going to do my top 15 lenses for 2022 for the Pentax system. Should be a lot of fun. I might do like a premiere on that, because that would be a lot of fun to see what other people's opinions on what they think the if I missed anything, or what they think the top one is. Oh yeah, thanks, thanks, Jeff. I meant to tell you about that. Yeah, so I shot a shot of the stars and finding focus, because I use this 16 to 50 millimeter lens. So for night photography, uh, yeah, you can't see focus to infinity here. That was a chore. First couple of shots, I was like, okay, I think I've focused it up far enough. But what I had to do is, I mean, it didn't take too much longer, but I wish I would have thought of that beforehand. I probably would have brought that 20 to 40 or something like that instead, or 20 to 10 to 20 Sigma instead, but I wanted the f2.8. I shined my flashlight and my headlamp at a tree, like as far as away as I could, and it grabbed focus of that, and then I just switched it to manual and didn't touch the focus ring at all after that, and that got all my shots good. It was focused to infinity at that point, and everything turned out pretty good. You could check out those shots on social media. One of the links below will be on there. I need to put them on Flickr as well, I guess. But it was funny. So I went. It was like 9:30 at night, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do some night photography. So I start walking. I had my GoPro on. None of the shots really turned out because it was so dark. I think it was like a quarter moon at that point, and it's the spot I go in the Great Smoky Mountains is like probably about half mile away to get these shots, and I'm walking up there, and a couple of people talked to me for a second, and then I went along, and I got to a spot where there's nobody out there, and I heard some noise over the side, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" Think that's an animal. And I was doing my narration like it was a video, and I had this super bright ass headlamp on that I just got from Energizer. It was like I don't know what it is, like 500 luminous or whatever, and it was just like blinding. And I was like, "Is that an animal?" And I turned on my flashlight too, and turned over, and I was like, "Something's moving over there." Somebody's like, "Hello," and I I think they were making out. It's like, oh, sorry, I thought that was an animal or something. I heard some grunts over there. And so I was like, I'll turn this off. So walked on a little bit farther and and did my star photography or whatever. But it turned out all right. What I do need to get is I should have did it before, but you could download on your app if you're doing the night sky or whatever. Um, one of those apps that has the GPS and it will tell you in the sky. You could hold your phone and go around and it will tell you what you're actually pointing at. I don't do star photography all that much, but I've seen some tips on it, and that's yeah, I was a peeping tom. uh, I've seen some tips, and that was one of the tips that somebody gave me. I tried it before, and it worked fairly well. So, um, yeah. But on the way back, this is even creepier. On the way back, I was walking back and almost got hit by a drunk driver because I was walking on the side of the road. And I'm like, they like swerved over. I'm like, whoa! I was like, I got all these lights on. Can you not see me? Maybe he's just on his phone or something. But anyway, right after that, um, I saw something. It was staring at me. It was like two eyes, like very bright. And I had my Osmo camera on. It just didn't pick. I looked at the footage because I was going to make a video with it, and it didn't pick up those eyes staring at me. And I was like, "Yep, there's an animal over there." I was like, "What is that? A raccoon or whatever?" And then all of a sudden, I saw the silhouette, and it was I'm guessing it was like 350, just a black bear over there. Now, black bears aren't. It's not like a grizzly bear or anything. Most of the time, they'll just leave you alone. But when you're out there at night by yourself walking, you kind of get or whatever. So and I was pretty quiet at that time. I wasn't talking too much. So I just said, "Hey, hey," just let them know I was there, uh, and that was about it. But uh, yeah, it just kind of gets you slightly nervous. The uh, Most of the time when I run into black bears, there's already like 20 photographers sitting around, like trying to get a shot of them. Um, but sometimes not. I was on a hike and I ran into one, and I had Pentax. I don't know what I had on there. I had some telephoto lens, but the by myself and this all of a sudden I came around the corner and this bear just went and he like stared at me and I went did the same thing, and then I was like, uh, he was probably 25 yards from me or something like that. I was like, get a picture or should I just like be still and just that? So I grabbed my camera and that bear went he like took off. I was like, well, that's good. He had one of the collars on, like he had been captured before, and they kind of let him out, and he knew not to trust humans. So that was good. All right. Let's see. What else? Anybody have any questions about any Pentax related equipment or the future of cameras everywhere? Um, oh, that's what I was going to say. So I do the eBay stuff, as you probably know, but I actually sold something for you to look up, and hopefully you know this, but something for you to look up. I sold a whole lighting studio setup. It was one of the cheaper ones, and I sold it and on Facebook Marketplace, and ran into the guy and just met him in a parking lot like I normally do, just to be safe. And I didn't look at the guy's last name, uh, and then he told me his father uh, was the photographer for the Manhattan Project. So if you don't know what the Manhattan Project is, you need to look it up, or yeah, just look it up. I mean, you probably researched it in high school or whatever, but Manhattan Project in the 40s. The photographer is Ed Westcott. It was his dad. So I thought that was really cool that I sold his stuff. So Google Ed Westcott photography, and you'll see all these cool shots from the 40s of the secret city in Oak Ridge and just all the cool stuff uh, with the Manhattan Project. and it'll be actually pretty fun for you to kind of go back to the yeah, atom bomb. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Um, to research it, and it's kind of interesting. So I thought that was cool that I sold it to him, and you know, his dad was like a famous photographer, and then he's buying this like this shitty lighting lighting setup for me for like $60. I was like, whoa. Uh, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. Of course, I told my mom about it, and parents are like, "Well, that's kind of cool." So um, interesting. But yeah, definitely look up some of his photos. Just for like back then, they are incredible. Just to see some Ed Westcott. Check out his photography from back then. It's really incredible. Have I tried live screened to get focus? Oh, uh, with the night shots, no, it worked with the flashlight. Like I said, you just have to have a strong flashlight and focus away. But if I mean, if I had something that actually showed, oh, all right, Jeff, you did the shot, the the night sky shot, right? Yeah. So you're probably better at this than me. So I don't do this that often. So uh, yeah, but I wanted something with, you know, that actually had the focus scale on it, so I could focus to infinity on it. So um, yeah, yeah, I don't do these night shots all that often. It's only when I go camping because I don't like all the light pollution, whatnot. But I liked how you said that you had the uh, trucks going by that got the kind of lit up the foreground of the shot that you submitted. That was a really good shot. Oh, you both do like night shots, okay? And there was I came across somebody the other day. Uh, it will probably take me too long to find it, but it was somebody that used the K1, and he didn't have too many. It was a YouTuber. He didn't have too many Pentax videos, and I meant to, I think I subscribed to him. I don't know. I'll link his channel below if I find it. But he did night sky stuff, and he did a really good job. I mean, excellent shots. And he had a video on why the K1 was the uh, best camera for nighttime shots. So, all right. Let me see here. We're at 27 minutes. Real quick, since I'm doing this video on the top 15 lenses uh, of Pentax, let me know yours below. Your most used lens by Pentax. Pentax, not a third party. If you do that, and I think I'm going to have this video up in probably a week, and have that. I think I need to go back and look at that video, but I think it's completely changed. I think I put it in that video was like 3 or 4 years ago, and there's been not a ton of new lenses released, but there was enough, and there were some lenses that I hadn't tried uh, that totally like flipped that video around where it's not it's not even close to what it was 4 years ago or whatever it was. I like that 50 millimeter macro. That's a great lens, and it's like you could get that lens super cheap. Yeah, it's like ridiculously cheap. I wouldn't buy it new because you could get it so cheap used. I'm not sure why you get so cheap used because it's a great lens. I guess because there's so many 50 millimeters out there, you've got all your options, and then it's like they have a 50 millimeter macro, and they're like, oh, I don't want the 2.8, I want you know, f1.4 or f1.8 or f1.7, whatever. But yeah, some of those macro lenses, 50 millimeters are great because they're just so cheap. Yep, $200. Yeah, and yeah, it's incredibly sharp. All macro lenses are sharp, and it's sharper than a lot of those other ones that have, you know, more open apertures. Um, so, and f2.8, you can still get some excellent bokeh with that. Just it's a great lens. What else? I hit my goal on eBay, $25,000 for 3 months of selling. So it took me a while to make that, but that was really good. Really like that. And I brought my Twinkie up. I need to post some of these pictures. I brought my Twinkie up to when we went camping and did some of those shots. It's always fun to have like a little prop to add to your shots. So I took some shots that I'd already taken like, gazillion times. And I'm like, okay, I'll just make a little fun shot. I'll put this Twinkie guy, just hold it over to the side so it does like a photo bomb, kind of like that. Hey, how's it going? Oh, anyway, where were we at? We're at 30 minutes. Yeah, I love the Twinkie too. But I had a Twinkie in here, but I brought it up there and I realized it had been in there for months. I was like, I think Twinkies probably have a shelf life of 20 years or something, but I was like, I'm just going to throw this away. I don't want a bellyache. So I let that one go. All right, everybody. I guess that's about it. Thanks everybody for watching, and stay tuned for that top 15 Pentax lenses of all time. I guess it's ever changing. We'll see what Pentax puts out with their next lens coming up. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the support. Check those links out below for some of those social media accounts. Well, I'll put some of these pictures that I was talking about. So thanks a lot.